In the cold seas of the north, a serpent means the end of the world. It waits at the bottom of the ocean, holding its own tail, and the day it lets go, everything ends. Follow the rivers south, into the monsoon and the temple towns of Southeast Asia, and you meet the same animal wearing the opposite meaning. Here, the great serpent doesn't end the world, it holds it up. They call it the Naga, and across Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos, it has spent 2,000 years as a guardian of water, of kings, of the Buddha himself. This is the story of the serpent much of the world learned to fear, and the rivers that chose to bless it instead. This is the story of the serpent much of the world learned to fear, and the rivers that chose to bless it instead. Start where the Naga starts, in the water. In the old Hindu texts, the Nagas are a whole race, children of the sage Kashyapa and the mother Kadru, half human, half serpent, and entirely at home in the deep. Their kingdom lies underground and underwater, a realm called Patala, glittering with gems and gold, which is why, to this day, the Naga is a keeper of treasure and a keeper of the rain. And rain, in this part of the world, is everything. The Naga rules the water that floods the fields and fills the rivers. Anger it, and the crops fail. Honor it, and the land lives. The Sanskrit word Naga simply means serpent, the cobra, hood flared. But this cobra grew in the imagination until a single one could wrap around the roots of the universe. The greatest of them is Shesha, also called Ananta, the endless, a serpent of 1,000 hoods coiled upon the cosmic ocean. And resting on that coil, using the serpent as his couch, sleeps the god Vishnu. Picture that for a moment. In the Hindu cosmos, the universe rests on the body of a snake. When Shesha finally uncoils, they say, time itself comes to an end. The Naga is always counted in odd numbers. 1 head, 3, 5, 7. 7 is the one you'll see most. 7 hoods spread like a fan, a crown made of the creature itself. Born of water, keeper of treasure, holding up the sky. That's the raw material. Now watch what the people of the rivers built out of it. One of the oldest and grandest myths of Asia begins with a problem. The gods want Amrita, the nectar of immortality, and it lies dissolved somewhere in a vast ocean of milk. To churn it out, gods and demons need a rope, and the only thing long enough, strong enough, and willing is the great Naga king, Vasuki. They wrap him around a mountain and pull. Gods on one side, demons on the other, hauling the serpent back and forth, spinning the mountain, churning the sea until the nectar rises. The Naga becomes the axle the whole cosmos turns on. And this isn't only a story told, it's a story carved. Walk into Angkor Wat in Cambodia, built in the 12th century, and there it is, cut into a wall of stone almost 50 meters long. 54 gods on one side, 54 demons on the other, and stretched between them, straining, the body of the serpent, the single most important rope in the universe, held by 108 hands. The kings who built Angkor put the Naga at the literal center of creation. That was not decoration. That was a statement about who held their world together. Then, some 2,500 years ago, a new teacher walked the rivers of India, the Buddha. And Buddhism did something clever with the serpent it found already worshipped there. It didn't erase the Naga. It gave it a role. In the most beloved story, the Buddha has just reached enlightenment, sitting in meditation, when the sky turns black and a cold storm settles in for 7 days. From beneath the earth rises the Naga king Mucalinda. He wraps his coils around the Buddha 7 times, lifts him above the rising flood, and spreads his 7 hoods into a living roof against the rain. For 7 days and 7 nights, the serpent shelters the teacher. When the sky clears, it slips away and takes the form of a young man to bow at his feet. The old text, the Udana, tells it in a few quiet lines. If you've stood in a Thai temple on a Saturday, you've met this moment. The Buddha seated on a coil of serpent, sheltered by a fan of hoods. That is the image for everyone born on a Saturday. Snake and sage, in perfect peace. The serpent the North imagined as a monster, the Buddhists imagined as a bodyguard for the gentlest man who ever lived. And in that one gesture, the meaning of the Naga in Southeast Asia is set. Not the thing that swallows the world, the thing that shields what matters most. The Naga didn't only guard gods and teachers. It married into the human race and founded kingdoms. The oldest origin story of Cambodia goes like this. An Indian Brahmin named Kaundinya sails east and meets a Naga princess, Soma, daughter of the Serpent King, leading her people out on the water. They marry, and her father, the Naga king, gives an extraordinary wedding gift. He drinks up the floodwaters that drowned the land and dries an entire kingdom into being for the couple to rule. That kingdom was Funan, the first great state of the region. Chinese envoys wrote the marriage down as history, and for centuries after, the Khmer kings called themselves exactly what the story made them, children of the Naga. The idea traveled. Up the Mekong, the kingdom of Lan Sang, 1,000,000 elephants, took the Naga as its own emblem of power and protection. The serpent had become the bloodline of thrones. In the north, a river. In the south, a mother. The same serpent, feared into a monster in one place, married into a dynasty in another. Which is why, when you walk toward almost any temple in Thailand, Laos, or Cambodia, the Naga is the first thing to greet you, flowing down the staircase on either side, hood raised at the foot, tail climbing to the door. The Serpent balustrade isn't just a railing, it's a bridge. In the old cosmology, the Naga is the rainbow that joins the human world below to the heavens above, and the temple stair is that rainbow, built in stone. So every worshiper who climbs to pray walks up the body of the serpent to get there. You don't pass the Naga on your way to the sacred. You cross it. You'll find it on the rooftops, too. The graceful hooked finials at the ends of temple roofs are Naga, guarding the ridgeline against the open sky. The guardian at the threshold is woven so deep into the culture that in 2022, Thailand made it official, naming the Naga a national symbol of the country. There's one more place the serpent lives, inside the making of a monk. In Thailand, a man about to be ordained isn't yet called a novice. He's called a Naga. The word comes from a strange, tender old story. A Naga, ashamed of being born a serpent, took human shape and slipped into the monkhood, just to be near the Buddha's teaching. He was found out while he slept, when his true form returned. The Buddha told him gently that a Naga cannot be a monk, but let the memory remain. From that day, every candidate for ordination would be called a Naga. So to this day, before a man is ordained, he is asked one simple question. Are you a human being? He answers yes. And a 2,000-year-old kindness to a heartbroken serpent lives on inside the ceremony. Which brings us at last back to the water, and to the one night each year the Naga is said to answer back. Every October, at the end of the Buddhist rains retreat, crowds gather along the Mekong near Nong Khai on the border of Thailand and Laos. They come to watch the river. Because on that night, for reasons no one fully agrees on, glowing red orbs rise silently out of the water and climb into the sky. Dozens of them, sometimes hundreds. No sound, no smoke. The people on the bonk call them the Bong Phi Paya Nok, the fireballs of the Naga, the serpent's own offering of light to honor the Buddha's return to the earth. Scientists point to gases rising from the riverbed. The families on the shore point to the deep water, and the serpent they believe still lives in it. Both have stood on that bank, watched the river catch fire, and gone home certain. The North gave its serpent the ending of the world. The rivers of the South gave theirs the rain, the throne, the temple stair, and one night of fire. The same shape, the opposite prayer. Next time on the Painted Pantheon, we follow the serpent all the way around to the snake that swallows its own tail, from Egypt to the alchemists, the Ouroboros. If the old stories move you, subscribe. There's a whole pantheon left to paint.